Hello and welcome to the March edition of Community Connect, brought to you by the Marshall Area Chamber of Commerce. This month's guest is Sam Lund. Sam is the president of the SMSU Enactus Club. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, let's talk about all the good things in February. There's a lot of things that, after a slower month of January, business sure picked up in February. So let's talk about that. On the February 8th was this SMSU Hall of Honor event, and congrats to all the honorees that were honored that day. They were honored also at the halftime of the SMSU basketball games that same night. Speaking of those games, and I know Sam, you were at this. It was tropical night on that February 8th. You know, good games that night, but what I was really impressed with, Sam, was the amount of the student section was huge.
Oh gosh, yeah, it always is. It's always a fun time. Like, I know we didn't always get the outcomes we wanted, but it was just a fun time just to be in the student section.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, and in my opinion, that's grown over time again over the last 3 or 4 years, but it sure helps to have winning teams. So keep it up, men's and women's. I know they've both lost in Sioux Falls right now, but they certainly will get a bid to the NCAAs. The Small Town Burger Battle has started back up. Participants this year are Tavern 507 in Atlantic Place, Gambler Varsity Pub, Bra Brothers, Wings Axe Company, KB's Bar in Ghent, Leroy's in Cottonwood, Bittens in Garvin, City Hall in Minneota, and Pelican Cove in Lake Chautauqua. This goes through Friday the 14th, so get your burgers in and do your voting through for the Burger Battle. The United Way event went old school on the 19th. They had a radiothon on Marshall Radio. They raised over $4,000 with their effort. First time back in many, many years. A lot of voices came back. A lot of former board members came back. So congratulations to the United Way. And thanks to Marshall Radio for doing that. Holy Redeemer held their annual Charge Up the Night event at Five Family Ranch on the 20th. New venue, same successes, and thanks to everybody that put a lot of time and effort into this event. On the 22nd was my favorite event all year long, and that's the Gold Rush Raffle. The event sold out. We sold all 700 tickets. It raised over $98,000. Sam, I think you were there that night.
I was, yes. Good time, super fun. It was really nice to see everyone being supportive.
Yeah, absolutely. And yep, thanks to everybody that came. Thanks to everybody that provided items for silent auction, live auction. It certainly is a fun night. And of course, there always has to be a committee to put that event together. And thanks to the committee members that put Gold Rush together on that night. Next, save the date for February 6th of next year. Finally, the Chamber had a number of events, but of note, I want to talk about the State of the City address. We had brought in about 150 people. It was last Wednesday on the 26th. Thanks to Mayor Bob Burns, City Administrator Sharon Hansen, who provided a really good update on the city. Well done, and thanks to everybody that attended that. So let's get to Sam. Sam Lund, he's a senior here on campus, and he is with the SMSU Enactus Club. In previous years, we had some different students, but SMSU, but we're lucky to have Sam here today. So let's talk about talk about Enactus. So exactly what is Enactus?
Enactus is a social entrepreneurship club that focuses on, depending on how big you want it to go, the city, region, state, country, world, if you really wanted to, and it's focused on finding issues that we deem important or find important and finding ways to make solutions for them through projects that we have created over the years.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Yes. Let's talk about those projects, current and past.
Yeah, so right now we have roughly 3 projects that are active. We have Catitude, which is focusing on capturing and releasing stray cats that may or may not be sick, and spaying and neutering them and making sure that the cat population doesn't keep rising, because that is a big issue, especially when they spread cat diseases like leukemia. So they work with some local veterinarians on that. The other one would be Mindful Meals. They focus on food insecurity. They are partnered with UCAP right now, kind of getting more families involved. That's a recent update, so that's pretty exciting for them. They focus on K through 2nd grade right now, and hopefully expanding through the K through 12 school system and providing food for those that don't always get food, especially on the weekends. And the project that I'm more involved with right now is Rebuild to Reintegrate. It is a website project that is focusing on reducing recidivism rates, which is people going back to prison, by being a resource hub, whether that be for mental health, housing, food security, job security, even legal aspects of trying to just get your life back together and reintegrate back into society without having those major risks of going back to prison.
Yeah, super neat. You gotta love that kind of involvement here from our SMSU students. I believe Mindful Meals goes back the furthest, right?
Yes.
Maybe a couple of years?
Yes, we always call it our flagship. They've been active for quite a while now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
How many students are involved in Enactus, and what are their roles?
Give or take on where you're looking at, we have roughly about 26 active members. We have our main core team of myself and some others that are leadership, whether that be the president, our chief operating officer, which is kind of like the manager of sorts, our finance person that works on our budget, PR, pushing out on the socials, and our nationals coordinator. And then for each project, they'll have like a project lead that kind of manages it, and then general members. So wide range.
Yeah, yeah. We'll talk about some of the events that you have, and what is your end goal with Enactus?
Yeah, so some of the biggest events is we do obviously the mindful meal operations. Those get pretty big, but some of the fun ones we do, we have we call them either Fruit Ninja or Smash and Burn, where we collect kind of discarded food that may be past its prime, maybe some mold on it, and just smash them with some golf clubs, baseball bats, just get some of that pre-school year anger and anxiety out, and then have a nice bonfire. We have our nationals trip eventually coming up in May, and then just work nights, things like that. Yes. Okay. And then for the goal part, I would say, is just being sustainable, making projects that make a difference.
Absolutely. So obviously, you need to be able to have some sustainable partnerships in the community, businesses, volunteers. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, of course. It just, again, back to the project, each one's unique and different, but like you just said, we definitely need sustainability, and being a student-led organization is huge and awesome and gives us the opportunities to be sustainable, but we do need some of that real-world help. So for like Mindful Meals, they partner with Christensen Farms. They're a big donor, whether it be money for some of our produce products or even some of that meat products that we get, or even now UCAP for the Catitude. It's definitely the help from the veterinarians, because that's something we can't do, and it just helps with the need. And then even for our website, just getting those sponsors, whether it be correction systems, local city officials, or even the government itself, like, hey, this is something that we want to implement. Since that one is a little early stage, we're looking for those partners, but it's just, that is a huge thing to keep things going.
Of course, SMSU Enactus is a nonprofit separate from SMSU University. Let's talk about, every single nonprofit has to have a fundraiser. Let's talk about that fundraiser that we have coming up, or you have coming up, and how can the community get involved? Definitely.
So that big fun event is called our Silent Auction. That is going to be April 29th from 5 to 7 in our Upper Conference Center here on campus. It is one of the best events we get to host. It is going to be more of a formal event, so we'll have food for people to eat, because it is over that kind of dinner time. Otherwise, you'll get to see the presentation team do its thing, present on what we're doing at Nationals, as well as have the opportunity to be either in person or online and purchase some auction items from the local communities. So we'll be doing some old-fashioned door knocking, going business to business, asking for any donations they can give, and then also an invitation just to come to the event. So if we're looking for help, it'd be just to show up to support the team, have some good times there, as well as maybe buy some things that help fund our trip, or even if you can, donate to us. So that'd be very helpful.
All right, April 29th, Upper Conference Center, 5 to 7 o'clock. Yes. You've mentioned it a few times, Sam. Nationals. I'm familiar. I sit on your board of advisors. My wife went to Nationals last year because she works here on campus. This year, I believe it's down in Kansas City. Let's talk a little bit more about what the Nationals is, when, the details behind it.
Exactly, yes. Like you said, it's in Kansas City, Missouri. We leave the 18th of May, but the competition part is May 20th through the 22nd, and then we leave that following 23rd. It is a fun event where they collect all the active Enactus chapters around the states, around the country, basically. We get together and either, depending on where you're at, so we compete in early stage because we're competing on our smaller projects that are just starting up. So we get to do a slightly smaller presentation, but then there's also World Cup for those that are very active. So like if Mindful Meals was presenting, it'd be an early or World Cup. So we get to compete against other schools, other chapters, do a bunch of different things that they host. I know in the past they've done things like resume get-togethers, fun events for all the teams to meet up with each other, listen to live speakers, things like that. So it's a nice convention of just competing on projects that we've all kind of came together to work on, and then also just meet new people, get ideas, kind of cross network and things like that.
You've kind of touched on it. Enactus isn't just here in SMSU. It's national. So how many clubs are there? You don't even know?
There's many, more than 10, believe. Like, it's countless. Last year we had roughly about 26 teams compete, whether it be World Cup or early stage. It's a global organization also. So whoever wins Nationals World Cup moves on to the World. I believe last year was in Kazakhstan, which was really cool to see the top 4 compete and then move on to that. So it is a worldwide organization. So it's huge.
How have the teams done in the past?
Our team has done pretty well. I know a few years ago when we went for the first time, it was like the first time in a long time. We don't obviously win because we haven't gone to World yet, but it's every year we do better, and it's just one of those things you have to keep trying until you get it, because every team is just phenomenal what they do. So everyone comes prepared, and it's kind of cutthroat a little bit, but it is a good experience for our team, and I think we just do amazing every year.
Yeah, how many people usually go?
Our presentation team is usually 4, but we usually bring about 15 or so, give or take. I know we have a limit set by nationals, but we usually fill up those seats pretty quickly.
Yeah. Any final thoughts for our watchers today? How people can get involved, or anything else you'd like to share?
I would just say, just support supports the school, support your community. Go SMSU.
Yeah, good. Thanks, Sam. Thanks again for being here.
Yes.
Let's talk about all the good things, what to expect here in March. The Shamrock Shuffle through the YMCA is coming up next Saturday, the 15th, I believe. The beauty of this Shamrock Shuffle, it's a 5K. You work hard, you get your running in, and then you end at Brow Brothers, so you can have a beer right after that. I believe it's a free beer. So this race ends at Brow Brothers, as I mentioned. Later that afternoon is the St. Patrick's Day Parade in downtown Marshall. We're still looking for, this is through the Downtown Business Association, which is housed out of the chamber. If you are interested in getting your business in the parade, call Mavi, 532-4484. Speaking of Mavi, she used to be in Enactus.
Yes, she did.
And a great member, too.
Very much so.
Yep. On the 20th is the True Light Promise Banquet featuring Sean McDowell. The True Light Banquet, of course, True Light Christian School, it's their Promise Banquet. Upper Room, this is a courtesy event, and the benefits go towards tuition assistance. Thanks to all the sponsors to make this courtesy, limited seating available. The Marshall High School is hosting the 3rd annual Job Career Fair and Summer Expo on the 21st. If you are a business that wants to get in front of our future workforce, don't wait. Right now there's 65 businesses and organizations that are signed up. Call Shonda at 537-6920. As I mentioned, as of last week, there was a whopping 65 businesses already registered. The Empower Her Women's Conference is scheduled for Saturday the 22nd at the Red Baron Arena. This is in its 3rd year as well. Get your tickets today by going to the Empower Her website or Facebook page. That same day at the Red Baron Arena, so 2 events at the Red Baron Arena, Empower Her and also the Youth Sports and Activity Expo is going to be scheduled from 9 to 1. If you and your kids are doing some activity shopping, this is the event for you. If you're an organization or a business that provides youth activities or sports, you need to be there because it gets a lot of good traffic. Again, March 22nd, Youth Sports and Activity Expo. Finally, last weekend of the year is the Culligan Water of Southwest Minnesota Home Show at the Red Baron Arena. The Chamber hosts a members-only sneak peek event on the Friday of that weekend in conjunction with a business after hours event. But that Saturday and Sunday is something that you should go to. Over 2,000 people attend. If you're a business that'd be a good fit, please get in touch with Marshall Radio. Finally, our coupon book is out. So if you've not gotten your coupon, it is our biggest fundraiser as a nonprofit, so please consider getting your coupon book. Over $5,000 worth of savings. It's a $30 book. So stop into the chamber, get yours today, but there's also a lot of different organizations that are helping sell. You can go to the YMCA, you can go to Borch's, you can go to Runnings, Hy-Vee, Food for Kids. There's a number of organizations that are helping sell these. All these events in March can be found at marshallmn.org or by going to the visit page at visitmarshallmn.com. Thanks again for tuning in to the March edition of Community Connect, and thanks, Sam, for being here.
Of course, thank you.
We will see you in April when we have Eric Wallen, Lyon County Sheriff, who will be our guest. See you in April.